Yeah, good evening. I think we are online now. I hope everybody is able to hear me.
Hello, hi everyone. Good evening. I'm unable to connect through my desktop, so I had to connect myself through my phone.
So I think Instagram only permits going live through phone, not through the desktop, I believe.
All right. No, but there is no option coming on my desktop, so I was not able to join through. So
Yeah,
finally took my phone out.
yeah. So are
All
you
right, I
set?
think we can continue like this. It's all okay.
Yeah, perfect. So are you ready? Good evening. How are you? Such a pleasure to see you. And first of all, thank you so much for supporting the Young Leaders Initiative and believing in the thought of empowering the youth. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Uh,
Thank you so much for the warm welcome and for having me here. It's wonderful talking to you.
It's my pleasure and my honor to be associated with you, with young aspiring leaders of India who actually motivate millions and want to change the country for the benefit of the youth. So it is very, very important for us to get associated and work in that direction. So I know it's been a little, people have been waiting for long, so I'll quickly start off with the questions. Uh,
Absolutely.
so, what was your experiences and challenges that you faced in your first assignment as an IS officer? So, because you became an IS officer at a very young age, so were there any issues? Because in the change of command, a young person is on top, giving orders to a subordinate who's elder to you. So, what are the changes and challenges that you face? If you could elaborate a little bit.
Right. So I joined the service when I was 22, and for nearly 2 years we are trained in the IS Academy in Missouri, as well as we have nearly 9 to 10 months long field training. So they try to equip us with all the necessary knowledge and field experience that we might encounter when we are actually posted into the field. And it was in the year 2018 when I was finally posted. I belong to the Rajasthan cadre, and my first posting was as a sub-divisional magistrate in Bhilwara district of Rajasthan. So the SDM is basically sub-collector of an area. So if we talk about a state is divided into a lot of districts. Then a district would be further divided into a lot of subdivisions. So basically, you are given the charge of a subdivision, and your basic role is to coordinate amongst all departments. So you are not only overall responsible for, say, maintaining the law and order, but also responsible for ensuring that all the government schemes are reaching the beneficiaries. Then, if the public has any issues and if it's related to the administration, so you are responsible to see them and then delegate to whichever department it is and get the things done. So you basically play the role of a coordinator come supervisor.
Right.
And I think when we talk about being an SDM, a subdivisional magistrate is mostly responsible also for basically you're a revenue officer. So all the land related issues, disputes, they all come under your jurisdiction. So you also hold court for resolving the land issue disputes that are in your area. So you're also a magistrate, and you also have law and order duties for maintaining the overall peace in your area. So you have to
Right.
coordinate police for that. Then also, like I said before, that you're also overall responsible for ensuring that the development schemes in your area are implemented smoothly. And I think the biggest challenge, so I was also, I would say lucky, or as fate would have it, that I got posted when Rajasthan was undergoing assembly elections. So
Right.
I think the most challenging task that I faced was when I was returning officer. I had just joined, and within 10 days we were facing Vidhan Sabha elections, and I was returning officer for the constituency which was in my area. So you were right out of the academy. You are so there was a joke that was being going around that for contesting an election you need to be 25 years old. But at the time when I was conducting the elections, I was just 24 years old. So I was not eligible to fight an election, but I was eligible to conduct the election.
So, but these are rules I think which definitely need changes now. I think the age bracket and the way things are in the country, I think these are things which are constitutionally there, but I think it's time that we need to revise that. So, ironical situation, a younger person conducting, but I think a beautiful experience which you have shared with us, and I believe. So I just I want to get a little bit deeper in this question. Like being young, did you face a little difficulty in giving instructions to elders, or was there any response difference that you felt in the initial bit? Obviously, because when you start
Oh,
getting involved, then obviously things change. But in the initial part, like there's that mindset in a 22-year-old who's listening to us, like, and if he wants to make a decision and if he has to convey a message to an elder person, whether it is UPSC, whether it is business, whether it is teachers, how can he be strong-headed enough and correct? That is what I basically want them to learn from you.
well, that's actually a very wonderful question. And in our local slang, we say कि कुर्सी सब सिखा देती है. So I was 24 when so I got selected at 22, 2 years of training, and I got posted when I was 24. And of course, personally, in your mind, in your heart, there are a few hesitancies because of course I deal with a generational gap. Everyone is older to me, and there's this of course when it comes to age and everything, it would appear that I'm young, but it's all about basic common sense, the knowledge that you carry, and of course the training that you get. So all that prepares you. And plus, when you are sitting on that chair of position, when you're shouldering that responsibility, so of course, in maybe in their minds, or maybe in the minds who work with me, it might come, oh, she's so young and she's giving us orders. But I speak from from a position point of view. I don't order them personally. So if it's work related and if I am their boss, so that has to come naturally and does. Like I said, that kursi sikha deti hai, and
Right.
be it that age gap or that generational thing that I have, still, if there are orders that need to be implemented, the people implement it. That's not in.
So coming to this current everything, and everybody is working from home, सब लोग अपना काम कर रहे हैं, सब लोग बहुत परेशान हैं, they're looking for new ways. So there are two very relevant questions according to COVID that we had in mind. So I'm clubbing these two questions together. First of all, as UPSC this year has not been the best year for academics and even for students preparing for UPSC because of COVID, what is that one thing you would want to tell UPSC aspirants watching us right now to focus while giving their competitive exam? Because पूरा उनका schedule, उनकी coaching, सब कुछ disrupt हो गई, सब कुछ online चला गया. And now I think October is when the exam is happening. So what message can you tell them? Because that will really motivate them.
Absolutely, I think that's a very relevant question given the times we live in. And I think we should, like students in particular, should take it as an opportunity. इसको एक opportunity की तरह देखा जाए कि you get bonus time. So I think because whenever there's an exam and if there's a competitive exam, say UPSC for that matter, मतलब UPSC में से कहा जाता है कि जितना पढ़ते हैं उतना कम है. And there's always a paucity of time. हमेशा time, it's a race against time. ऐसा लग रहा है कि समय के साथ लड़ रहे हैं, and there's so much syllabus to finish. So now, since there are these bonus months that we have got, so my suggestion and my advice would be that whatever topic that they felt that they were not comfortable with or did not get time to cover, तो वो आप उन पे ध्यान दें and उन चीजों को वापस से करें. So this is a sort of a bonus period for them.
Another question, this is regarding your personal experience in COVID-19. So your administrative duties that you played as a person, and then what are the things you did or have done in past few months which haven't done otherwise in the longest time? COVID, what was your personal life and your administration life? So how did it change for you?
So, when you talk about my experience in administration when COVID actually struck, so I was posted in Bhilwara, and as you must have read in the papers, Bhilwara was initially the epicenter in the country. So nobody had heard that okay, Corona would take India by such a storm until it actually stuck in Bhilwara, and suddenly we were the next Italy, we were the next Wuhan, and so we also did not know so much how to tackle such a crisis because it was one of a kind. But as a team, and we had guidance from superiors from the government, and we took a lot of measures, containment measures and strategies were pulled out, and there was curfew, there was complete lockdown, and that seemed successful and that proved to be successful. And later on, it was repeated even in other countries, even in other states and districts of the country. So, well, it was a time when we barely knew day or night. We were on the call all the time, 24/7 duty, because it was such a public health emergency. So I think the biggest thing was that I could not meet my parents, my family for a really long time. As we all know, that travel was banned completely. So I could not see them for a really long time, at least for 5 months. I was not in touch with them. And when I was SDM, and a lot of parents used to come and ask कि मेरा बच्चा वहाँ पढ़ रहा है, मुझे आप travel pass बना के दीजिए. मुझे उस time, I'm talking about lockdown 1 and 2, phase 1 and 2, when everything was shut and travel was mostly restricted. It was only allowed in case of an emergency, and I had so many parents because Rajasthan is a hub for education when we consider Kota, when we consider Jaipur, and many people had their children studying in Delhi, and all of them wanted to go and get their children. And then I had to literally make a personal appeal that listen, even I'm not that old, and even I'm staying away from my parents because this is the need of the time, and government has forbidden it. We need to, for the cause of public safety and public health. We can only allow you when it's an emergency, it's a life or death situation. So, I used to use that personal appeal also. So that was an anecdote of how things were so difficult back then.
Correct. So, coming to your current responsibility, you recently got promoted as the CEO of Zilla Parishad, Srinagar district. So what changes and how was your experience in handling this responsibility? And what does the CEO do? Like, how is it different? Because this is a very new term that is being used in the districts, I believe. And what is it's more like a corporate world, designation that you get. So what is it? What is the difference?
Absolutely. So basically, this post has been there for a while, for a really long while, but the nomenclature has undergone a change. So basically, additional district magistrate development. This post used to be called as ADM development, additional district magistrate development of areas. So now it's given a very fancy term, and we are all very happy with it. So it's Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Zilla Parishad of a district. So basically, I am here responsible for implementing all schemes of Panchayati Raj and rural development. So as an SDM, my job was overall coordination of a subdivision, and right now I am managing all rural development and Panchayati Raj schemes of the whole district. So basically, the big schemes that we have all heard of, like MG Narega and Swachh Bharat Mission, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So these are the big schemes of the central government. There are many schemes of the state government as well for Panchayati Raj and rural development. So I am the person who is responsible of getting everything in place with respect to those schemes. So we handle big schemes here. So we ensure that all the targets, the yearly targets are met, the accounts are maintained properly. And so under me, there are 9 blocks. We have block development officers under me who work and get things done in the scheme, in the field. So this is the main job of the CEO. And when I had joined, I'm posted in the Sri Ganganagar district, and when I had joined, Sri Ganganagar district was at the bottom 5 in the districts of Rajasthan with respect to performance in these various schemes. And I'm very happy to tell you that, for instance, in Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act scheme, which is MG Narega, which we all know, Ganganagar is number 1 in the state at the moment. Yeah, and it's all available on the government website. It's all transparent, available on the portals. So we have provided employment to more than 1,19,000 people at the present. And it's COVID times, and as you know, there is an economic slowdown. And जो सबसे ज़्यादा hard hitting होता है वो rural areas पे the poor, the laborers, they are the most affected. So नरेगा एक वैसा स्कीम है कि उनको एक जो सेफ्टी नेट प्रोवाइड करता है. सो वी आर ट्राइंग कि हम सबसे ज्यादा उसमें जितना भी रोजगार एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट कर पाए. So that's what we've done, and right now we are number one in that. Also, with respect to Swachh Bharat mission, so we are also in the top 3 districts who are working in building toilets. And right now, the focus of the government is in building community toilets. So that's that, and in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, we are doing very well. So our overall rank in the country is 36 at the moment. So, but we are trying hard, we are working.
I think ये सारे जो हम लोगों को सुन रहे हैं उनके लिए बहुत बड़ा लेसन है कि जब यंग माइंड अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस करते हैं और अचीव करना चाहते हैं, बिकॉज दे कैन गिव 18 hours ऑफ देयर लाइफ. आई नो, आई एम अवेयर दैट टीना जी इज गिविंग लॉट ऑफ टाइम. अपना 24 घंटे में से 20 घंटा भी अगर काम को देना पड़ता है तो देती हैं. And it's been very difficult to get her to do this chat because she's very busy. But I think this is a lesson for the youth that you have to give time and you have to put in efforts. कुछ भी achieve करना impossible नहीं है अगर आप उसके लिए hard work करें. So I think that is something very important. And it's a great example for all of us to share across all communities and in other platforms where we'll share your story and how success stories are built in bureaucracy. So next question to you is regarding, because all UPSC aspirants have been after us since the time you have joined the board, and they have been asking, sending questions. Right now I can see on my screen there are more than 99 questions already there who would want to ask. So we will take a couple of them as well. But the one question that we have is for the examination point of view. We have received several tips on how to crack UPSC examination. However, the journey after once you clear the exam is actually ocean to be dived upon. What are some of the suggestions you would give to face the daily challenges you face in the responsible profession? That you more or less answered, but what I would still want to know is how many hours were you actually putting in? Because there are myths around that you were studying 27 hours out of 24 hours to become an IAS officer. Is it true?
So well, that's maybe not possible, and it never happens like that. So it basically, it's sort of a personal question in the sense that it depends at what level have you joined the preparation for the exam. So if you're beginner, initially it would take you 9 to 10 hours in a day to catch up. But once when you're in the flow and you have adequate knowledge base, then barely 6 hours to 7 hours in a day is more than sufficient. Now, when I say 6 to 7 hours or those 9 to 10 hours, I mean that with full attention, idhar udhar dimag nahi, complete focus. So you can study the whole day, but if you're on your phone or you're distracted by say any other thing, then that doesn't count. So when I say 6 hours, that means dedicated 6 hours.
So a question now to the BRICS platform. So geographically, we know that BRICS nations are all separate, and we are trying to create a body with all the developed and developing nations, and trying to create an economy where these BRICS nations, the different cultures, different languages come together and are making a statement. So since the inception of BRICS concept, we have come a long way now. And next year, India is going to be chairing, which is a very important year for India. So what roles do you think as a young leaders advisor, we can contribute to the global youth empowerment? What are your visions about this?
Well, I think BRICS CCI is going to be a wonderful platform because the youth are the future, and I think everybody now realizes and understands it. So the main idea behind the whole initiative is to bring the youth at the center and provide them with opportunities to grow. So I meet a lot of young people, and mostly many people either probably as they see me, so many people want to join the bureaucracy. But I have seen a lot of interest also that young people these days are showing in business and entrepreneurship opportunities. And I think thereby BRICS CCI is such a wonderful platform because that's what this Young Leaders Initiative really plans to do. It plans to connect the youth who are interested in a career in business and entrepreneurship and provide them with wonderful opportunities whereby they can meet people who've already done well in this field, take guidance from them, give them opportunities to for instance, where they can build their CVs, they can do a lot of research. There's mentorship being provided, guidance being provided for the same, and a lot of people, a lot of students who have actually joined us for this Insta Live session. Many of them are in college, and as I was speaking to your organization a few days back, they told me that they have campus ambassadors also.
Correct.
Who help students out so that they can become a part of this initiative. So I think business, entrepreneurship, startups is such a new big thing that the youth is really, really impressed and influenced with. And a lot of people take very keen interest. So I think in this Young Leaders program, we can hold a lot of sessions where they can get to know more about this and how they can benefit from this, how they can plan a career in this.
Very true. So I'll just talk more about the Young Leaders program a little bit to explain to the audience, because see, the clear objective is not just business entrepreneurs, it's about connecting people like you, policymakers also, and how to get inspired with them and how to choose paths in their life. And Young Leaders Initiative is basically to empower the mass, that is 65%, that our honorable PM has been talking about. But nothing has been done as such by any organization where a chamber is focusedly working with the youth, and which is the need of the hour. And I think we all should eventually, from the chamber side, will be proposing to the government to have a youth body. Nehru Yuva Kendra is there, but a youth commission where certain problems that the youth face, racism, whether they're from Northeast, and the other issues that they keep facing, it should be addressed in a proper way and manner, and the youth should be taken more seriously. So thank you so much for your views on that. There are a lot of questions. Should we take a couple of questions from the users? I think.
Absolutely. I think the audience really wants to interact with us.
So there are questions about economics. Okay, all related to UPSC. So basically what they want to, most of the questions are what subject they should choose, whether if they're from humanities, if they're from medical background and whatever. So what do you suggest? Like, how does one choose their UPSC subjects? So how did you do it? So probably they can analyze it in their own sense then.
Yeah. Well, you know, why I would want to tell you why people are asking this, because the optional subject carries 500 marks. So that's a huge chunk. And that's why everyone is always worried कि कौन सा optional subject लिया जाए. And the very simple answer to this is, of course, logically, take the subject in which you think you can score the highest, because it's all about marks at the end of the day. And now there are 2-3 things how you think you can score the maximum. First is if it's a subject you've done for quite a long time, you're very comfortable with it. That's what happened in my case. I took political science, so I'm a graduate in political science from Lady Shri Ram College. So that's what I did in my entire college life. So I was pretty comfortable with, had a decent command over the subject. So एक तो option है, you go for the thing you've done for a while, you're comfortable, you have a command over the subject, because that will ensure that you score good marks. The next thing is that go for the subject which you think, if you want to go with the subject in which you've graduated, say for example, then go for the subject in which you have an interest, because studying for an optional is not very easy. It basically, it's like studying a graduation all over again. So it's the syllabus is vast, it takes a lot of time. So जिसमें interest हो वही आप इतना time देके effort देके पढ़ पाएंगे. So choose a subject which is of your interest, and then after that you must, you know, practice answer writing, check whether you are able to answer questions. If you're not able to, history में बहुत interest हो सकता है, but at the end of the day I'm not able to solve questions, I'm not able to give a decent output. So then, of course, then it's of no point, because at the end of the day you have to select the subject which gets the maximum mark. Now there are myths that अच्छा 3-8 Rabi graduated from political science, so political science में ज़्यादा marks मिलते हैं, let's all go for political science. That's not the case. So, different years, different toppers, different optional subjects. So that doesn't matter. What matters is that the person chose the subject in which they thought that they could score well and they scored.
तो सारे यूजर्स दोबारा से सुन लें कि द होल आइडिया आप लोगों को पढ़ने के लिए ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट चूज करने के लिए आपका जो स्ट्रेंथ है, चाहे वो ज्योग्राफी हो, चाहे वो पॉलिटिकल साइंस हो, जो आपका सब्जेक्ट आपको पता है आपको अच्छे मार्क्स ला के देगा, वही आपको चूज करना है और उसी के लिए आपको एक्स्ट्रा प्रिपेयर करना है. आई थिंक दैट आंसर्स मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द चंक दैट वाज देयर. बट एक क्वेश्चन एक बड़ा अलग से झलका कि हाउ डू वी गेट मोटिवेटेड. आई थिंक that's a very important question because कुछ भी चीज हम monotonous हो जाता है अगर हम करते रहते हैं. एक motivation is a very important thing and काफी लोग second try लेते हैं, third try करते हैं, वो they are continuously trying, so एक demotivation भी हो जाता है. Everybody is not able to clear in first go. How do you think, मतलब what is your view कि आप कैसे motivate कर सकते हो इनको और कैसे, how can we do it?
Well, it's a wonderful question, and I think ये सिर्फ UPSC के लिए नहीं है. Even when, like for instance, now I'm in my job, everyone has to motivate themselves on a daily basis. So I really have to believe in the cause. Why you are doing this. Be it a competitive exam, be it the profession you are in, be it if you're in school, so why are you doing your schooling? If you're in your college, why are you pursuing your college studies? Everything has to have a cause behind it. And when you really believe in that cause, so that is when, even when things get monotonous, they get very routinized, you still get that drive and energy to move forward. Plus, everyone, I think, has to build their support systems because, if competitive exam ka example le lete hain, UPSC is such a tough examination, lakhs of people sit with it. The success rate is very, it's 0.10, something like that. And the chances of failure are so grim. They are always in the face of you, and you always feel very nervous and anxious. Now, how in such depressing circumstances does one keep one motivated? And I think everyone needs to have support structure. For instance, even जब आज भी मेरे profession में अगर कोई, if there's some very troubling thing which happens and I'm unable to handle it, I also get very demotivated and very depressed. But I have my support systems. I have my father, my mother, and my sister, whom I'm constantly in touch with, and they give me the energy to move forward. So it can be your parents, it can be your sibling, it can be your friends, it can be your mentor, it can be a teacher. But you have to find a support system who always reminds you the cause why you are in that place in the first place and why you need to keep going.
So that's very important. आप लोग जिन लोगों ने सुना कि चाहे वो आपके माँ बाप का सपोर्ट हो, फ्रेंड्स का सपोर्ट हो, आप लोगों को मोटिवेट करने के लिए बहुत जरूरी है और फोकस तरीके से. और आई थिंक टाइम मैनेजमेंट, व्हाट डू यू से अबाउट टाइम मैनेजमेंट, इज हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इज इट? आपने 7-8 घंटे बताया, उसको ढंग से प्लेस करना एक 24 घंटे में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट यू हैव गॉट द रेस्ट, एंटरटेनमेंट, रिलैक्स टाइम एज वेल एज बैक टू फोकस. सो क्योंकि एक बारी में 6 घंटा फोकस करना इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर एनीबडी. साइंस भी ये बोलती है कि आई थिंक 25 मिनट्स और 20 मिनट्स इज द स्टार्टिंग टाइम जहाँ पे आप सबसे अच्छा ऑब्जर्व करते हो, फिर धीरे धीरे वो डिटोरेट करता है. सो आप, मतलब हाउ डिड यू प्लान योर शेड्यूल? आप एक बारी में 6 घंटा पढ़ते थे या कुछ पोर्शन पढ़ते थे, फिर यू वुड टेक अ ब्रेक एंड देन गेट ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ द स्टडीज?
बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है ये, बिकॉज इट्स ट्रू दैट एक 40 मिनट्स के गैप के बाद अटेंशन लैप्स होता ही है. So it's better to break your study session. So 6 hours in a day is of 24 hours. So I used to break it in 2-hour sessions. And between those 2 hours also, I would take a 10-minute break in between. So that's how, you sort of rejuvenate and re-energize yourself. But of course, exam hai to slog to karna padega. So that is one thing. Shortcut nahi hai. But of course you have to, एक stretch पे तो 6 घंटा निकलना थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है, because it's natural that इतना attention span किसी का है नहीं. So that has to be taken care. And of course, like you are also part of so many things, so many organizations, you have so many initiatives that you take care of. I'm pretty sure you would agree कि सब कुछ ही time management का खेल है. So be it बिल्कुल. तो चाहे आप कॉलेज में हो, आप स्कूल में हो, आप यूपीएससी की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो, और यू आर जस्ट अ यंग प्रोफेशनल आउट देयर, यू आर डूइंग सम जॉब, एवरीथिंग इज अबाउट योर टाइम मैनेजमेंट। सो चाहे कितना भी खराब लगे या अच्छा लगे, अगर आई पर्सनली बिलीव कि अगर सुबह थोड़ा टाइमली उठ जाते हैं तो मैनेज हो जाता है पूरा दिन। और वही मतलब आई कैन टॉक फ्रॉम माई ओन पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस कि किसी दिन इफ आई एम लेजिंग अराउंड एंड इफ आई वेक अप लेट, इवन 1 hour लेट और हाफ एन आवर लेट, देन माई शेड्यूल टाइम, मेरा एक्चुअली पूरा दिन उतना अच्छा प्लानिंग नहीं हो पाती है और दिन उतना अच्छा नहीं निकल पाता मेरी चीजें एंड टास्क आर, you know, I have then a struggle to managing things which I manage on a regular basis. So time management, time scheduling, पूरा ही game उसका, and especially when it comes to UPSC exam. So there's so much to study, so little time, so everything boils down to whether you have schedules, you have daily schedules, you have weekly schedules, you have monthly schedules.
वेरी ट्रू। तो आप लोगों ने, सब लोगों ने सुना। और एक सवाल जो मेरे ख्याल से सब लोगों के दिमाग में रहता है कि अगर हम हिंदी मीडियम से हैं और हमारी अंग्रेजी पे फ्लुएंसी नहीं है तो कैसे हम कोप करें। हर अपने आप को थोड़ा वो कमजोर समझने लगते हैं। कमजोर गलत शब्द है, एक्चुअली डिमोटिवेटेड रहते हैं कि हम हिंदी बोलते हैं और अपनी राष्ट्रभाषा से ही शर्म खाने लगते हैं और अंग्रेजी बोलने के चक्कर में वो कहीं मतलब कंपटीशन में उनको लगता है पीछे जाते हैं। तो व्हाट इज योर व्यूज ऑन दिस। आई थिंक ये मेरे से बहुत लोगों ने सवाल पूछा है कि आई एम श्योर आपसे भी पूछा होगा इन योर जर्नी। तो ये हाउ
आई
डिड यू टैकल।
कंप्लीटली, मैं बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ इस बात से कि आई हैव ऑल्सो मेट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, बहुत लोगों से मिलती हूँ, बहुत सारे एस्पिरेंट्स जो हिंदी मीडियम से हैं वो मिलते हैं और वो यही बात दोहराते हैं कि हमें एक अधिक सा डर लगता है कि क्योंकि हमारी अंग्रेजी उतनी अच्छी नहीं है तो क्या कोई दिक्कत होगी, क्या हमें अंग्रेजी पे फोकस करना चाहिए। सो इसमें मेरा सिंपल सबमिशन ये है कि क्योंकि मैं तो इंग्लिश मीडियम स्टूडेंट हूँ तो मेरी तो इतनी अंग्रेजी है, बट ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आप इंग्लिश मीडियम स्टूडेंट ही हों। आप अगर हिंदी मीडियम स्टूडेंट है तो आपकी हिंदी बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए। और यूपीएससी जैसी एग्जाम या कोई भी और कम्पिटेटिव एग्जाम हो, चाहे वो स्टेट सर्विसेज की एग्जाम हो या सिविल सर्विसेज यूपीएससी की एग्जाम हो, तो वो एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि आपका जो भी मीडियम हो, चाहे वो हिंदी हो या इंग्लिश हो, तो आपकी उस लैंग्वेज पे पकड़ अच्छी होनी चाहिए। तो अगर मैं हिंदी माध्यम से होती या कोई भी बच्चा जो हिंदी माध्यम से है तो उसकी हिंदी पे पकड़ बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए और ऑफ कोर्स दूसरी लैंग्वेज का एक बेसिक, एक डिसेंट लेवल होना चाहिए। तो जरूरी नहीं है कि अगर आप हिंदी मीडियम से हैं तो आपसे ये भी अपेक्षा रखी जाएगी कि आप इंग्लिश में भी बहुत ही फराटेदार इंग्लिश भी बोले, ये नहीं। बट हाँ, क्योंकि हमारा कंट्री में दोनों ही लैंग्वेजेस में सारा ऑफिशियल काम चलता है तो एक बेसिक कर्सरी, एक डिसेंट लेवल की इंग्लिश की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है कि आप आराम से पत्राचार उसमें कर पाए। बट कोई फराटेदार इंग्लिश बोलना जरूरी नहीं है, ना ही एग्जाम में क्लियर करना। और आज भी हाँ ये जरूर है कि इंग्लिश मीडियम से ज्यादा बच्चे सिलेक्ट होते हैं, बट ऐसा नहीं है कि हिंदी मीडियम से सिलेक्ट नहीं होते हैं। हिंदी मीडियम से भी काफी बच्चे सिलेक्ट होते हैं और काफी टॉप 10 में भी आते हैं। तो इससे ना ही घबराने की जरूरत है या डरने की जरूरत है। आप अपनी हिंदी जो आपकी मेन भाषा या कोई और भी रीजनल भाषा में अगर आप कर रहे हैं वो आपकी भाषा में फ्लुएंसी होनी चाहिए बजाय इंग्लिश की। बट हाँ, इंग्लिश की एक वर्किंग नॉलेज होनी चाहिए।
तो जैसा कि टीना जी ने आप लोगों को सबको बताया कि आपकी जो भी भाषा है उस पर पकड़ होना बहुत जरूरी है और बहुत ही वैलिड पॉइंट है ये। और जहां तक अंग्रेजी का सवाल है, आप अपना बड़ा बेसिक प्रैक्टिस है जो इंग्लिश मीडियम में शुरू से करवाते हैं। क्योंकि इंग्लिश मीडियम में हम लोग जब गए थे तो घर पे तो हिंदी ही बोलते थे, ऐसा नहीं कि हम लोग घर पे अंग्रेजी बोलते थे। और हम लोग को बोला जाता था कि न्यूज़पेपर लिया जाए अंग्रेजी का और उसको आईने के सामने बैठ के पढ़ा जाए। तो आई थिंक मेरे को बहुत फर्क पड़ा था अपने अंग्रेजी बोलने पे और रीडिंग करने से। और अच्छी डॉक्यूमेंट्री इंग्लिश में देखिए, आजकल तो डिजिटल वर्ल्ड है, आप लोगों को एक्सेस है थ्रू स्मार्टफोन, जो आप लोग अच्छी अच्छी वीडियोस और सारी चीजें सुन सकते हैं और काफी चीजें अब्जॉर्ब कर सकते हैं अंग्रेजी में। तो आई थिंक इफ अगर वो प्रैक्टिस किया जाए तो उससे अपना लेवल भी थोड़ा इम्प्रूव किया जा सकता है। बट अपने मेन एक लैंग्वेज पे अच्छा कमांड होना बहुत जरूरी है, जैसे टीना जी ने बोला। एंड आई थिंक इसमें लैंग्वेज का बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल हर जगह रहता है। बट अपने आप को हमेशा कॉन्फिडेंस से प्रेजेंट करिए। आई थिंक वही सक्सेस का सबसे बड़ा फैक्टर ही आपका कॉन्फिडेंस और आपका करेज होता है। अब इन दिस डिजिटल वर्ल्ड इतनी सारे डिस्ट्रैक्शन हो रहे हैं एंड एक फियर साइकोसिस भी हो गया कोविड का। तो what is your how can you suggest some views to the young viewers here that how to get focused, because distractions over the time period are increasing because as per need सबके पास स्मार्टफोन्स आ गए हैं, सबके पास डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी घर आ गई है। बैक इन द डे हम लोग जब करते थे तो साइबर कैफे होता था, तो हम लोग तब इंटरनेट का यूज करने कहीं और जाते थे, पर अब आज थोड़ा इम्प्रूव हो गया, अब और ज्यादा इम्प्रूव हो रहा है। आजकल हर बच्चों के हाथ में पढ़ाई लिखाई के चक्कर में अब माँ बाप ने ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन के चलते कभी लैपटॉप दे दिया या मोबाइल दे दिया या सरकार ने प्रोवाइड कर दिया, तो डिस्ट्रैक्शन भी उसके साथ आता है, बिकॉज इससे पढ़ाई के लिए यूज नहीं होता। कैसे अपने आप को डिजिटल एनवायरनमेंट में सिक्योर रखा जाए, व्हाट आर योर व्यूज, मतलब इसमें, बिकॉज कोई इसमें आपके ऊपर कोई बंदिश नहीं डिजिटली, तो कैसे फोकस रखा जाए?
वेल आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी रेलिवेंट क्वेश्चन। आज के टाइम्स को जैसे हम देख रहे हैं कि इवन एजुकेशन ही ऑनलाइन शिफ्ट होने पे आ रही है बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड। एंड वैसे भी इसके बिना भी आई थिंक सबके पास एक स्मार्टफोन है, एवरीबडी इज ऑनलाइन, एवरीबडी इज मेकिंग यूज ऑफ अ लॉट ऑफ एप्स ऑफ द नेट। तो इसमें आई अग्री कि ये डिस्क्रिशन जो है कि क्या चीज कंस्ट्रक्टिव है और क्या चीज डिस्ट्रक्टिव है, ये बहुत थिन लाइन है। और ये जो डिस्क्रिशन है ये लाना भी मुश्किल होता जा रहा है। तो अगर स्कूल के बच्चे हैं एंड आई थिंक दे आर वेरी यंग, तो इसमें पेरेंट्स का आई थिंक थोड़ा रोल इम्पोर्टेंट है कि उनको थोड़ा डिस्क्रिशन उनको बना के रखना कि कम से कम या तो टाइम लिमिट हो जाए कि बच्चे सब कुछ उसी पे वेस्ट ना कर दें, और अगर वो यूज भी कर रहे हैं तो कम से कम थोड़ा सा वो चेक रखें कि कहीं वो डिस्ट्रैक्ट तो नहीं हो रहे किसी और चीज में। सो आई थिंक दैट इज देयर। जो बच्चे बड़े हैं वो आर इन कॉलेज, वो यंग प्रोफेशनल्स, आई थिंक दे आर ओल्ड इनफ to make that decision. And as an appeal, as a young officer myself, I would say कि technology इतनी accessible है. This is wonderful news because now everything is at the tips of your fingers. So that's something which is unique, remarkable. We are blessed to be in that generation where we have so many tools at our disposal. And इसलिए अपील है कि उसको positively use किया जाए, constructively use किया जाए, and not for just for the sake of say passing time or getting involved in very bad things such as जो rumor mongering है या जो hate content है internet पे या जो destructive चीजें हैं उसमें ना घुसते हुए अपने आप को पॉजिटिवली अपना नॉलेज बेस इंक्रीज करने के लिए, इवन अगर सोशलाइजिंग के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से स्टूडेंट्स या यंग द यूथ इवन इफ दे आर यूजिंग इट फॉर दैट सेक, तो इवन उसमें थोड़ा सा व्यूअर डिस्क्रिप्शन उन्हें खुद बनाना पड़ेगा बिकॉज एब्सोल्युटली देयर इज इसमें कोई डंडा तो है नहीं सर पे कि देयर समबडी हु इज वाचिंग आउट फॉर यू, यू हैव टू वॉच आउट फॉर योरसेल्फ। सो इट्स एन अपील टू ऑल द यंग पीपल आउट देयर कि व्यूअर डिस्क्रिप्शन उनके हाथ में है, वो खुद समझें कि कैसे ये टेक्नोलॉजी जो उनके जो डिस्पोज पे है, इतनी वंडरफुल अपॉर्चुनिटी है उनके लिए, वो कैसे उसे कंस्ट्रक्टिवली एंड पॉजिटिवली यूज करें और गलत डायरेक्शन में ना जाए।
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर व्यूज। और मेरा एक लास्ट सवाल, जो ऑनरेबल पीएम हैज बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट, हम आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात कर रहे हैं, हम लोग स्किल इंडिया की बात कर रहे हैं, मेक इन इंडिया की बात कर रहे हैं, हम लोग यूथ की बात कर रहे हैं 65%। तो हर किसी के सवाल में स्वच्छ भारत से लेके सारे अभियान, सब लोग आज की डेट में बड़ा, क्योंकि आजकल जो पॉलिसी बन रही है बड़ी सिंपल लैंग्वेज में बन रही है, आत्मनिर्भर भारत सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी है कि कैसे आप लोगों को, तो हर किसी का सवाल ये कि हम कैसे कंट्रीब्यूट करें। यूथ के दिमाग में सबसे बड़ा सवाल ये है कि हाउ डू वी बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ द पॉलिसी मेकिंग और चेंज। तो आपका क्या उसमें अनुभव के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आप कैसे सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं कि एक लोकल कम्युनिटी में अगर 4 बच्चे हैं तो वो कैसे कोई भी एक मुद्दा, चाहे वो स्वच्छता हो, चाहे वो आत्मनिर्भर भारत हो, चाहे वो मिशन इन मेक इन इंडिया हो, कैसे उसको प्रोत्साहन कैसे दे सकते हैं और हम लोग कैसे उसको अप्रोच कर सकते हैं, या कैसे आप गंगानगर के अगर कुछ लोग हैं अगर आपको अप्रोच करना चाहते हैं तो कैसे उनको पॉलिसी की जानकारी और मिल सके, तो कुछ उसके बारे में आप थोड़ा सा गाइड कर दें।
राइट। सो ये जो क्वेश्चन है एक्चुअली ये सिर्फ मतलब अ लॉट ऑफ एजेंसीज हैव टू बी इन्वॉल्व इन दिस कि ये जो इनिशिएटिव्स हैं, जो वंडरफुल स्कीम्स एंड पॉलिसीज एंड इनिशिएटिव्स हैं गवर्नमेंट के, उसका यूथ बेनिफिट करे, उसका पीपल इन जनरल बेनिफिट कर पाए। सो फॉर इंस्टेंस अगर हम अगर पर्टिकुलरली स्टूडेंट्स की बात करें, यूथ की बात करें हु वांट टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट, so I think when it comes to the department which deals with public broadcasting, so these schemes, a lot of people don't even know कि ऐसा भी कुछ है, this is something at my disposal and if I want to participate in it I can. तो आई थिंक हमारी आईसी मशीनरी बहुत स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए, एंड दिस इज पॉसिबल बिकॉज नाउ सो मच देयर सो मच एक्सेसिबिलिटी एंड विजिबिलिटी ऑन सोशल मीडिया, तो दिस इज ऑलरेडी बीन इन प्लेस। आई थिंक इसको और ज्यादा प्रोएक्टिवली हम लोग कर सकते हैं। सेकेंडली, आजकल ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस एंड इतनी पॉलिसीज में फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी और कन्वीनियंस डालने की सारी ही स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स एंड सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की कोशिशें रहती हैं। सो वी ट्राई टू क्रिएट एन एनवायरनमेंट कि अगर किसी को भी अपना छोटा सा कुछ भी स्टार्ट करना हो, सो वी कैन प्रोवाइड दैट सपोर्टिव एनवायरनमेंट टू देम। Plus also, I think we need organizations like BRICS CCI who specifically aim to empower youth in that regard. कि वो उनको guide कर पाए, nurture कर पाए, because बहुत plainly and honestly and clearly speaking, आजकल ऐसी कम opportunities हैं कि हमें direct पता चल पाए कि अच्छा क्या करना है। There's a lot of confusion. तो वो confusion दूर करने के लिए, उस specifically उस चीज पे orient करने के लिए, I think this will play a very huge role in helping the government, because at the end of the day, the people जिनके लिए बनाया जा रहा है, they'll get to benefit from it. So this is a way in which this whole thing can come about. And when we specifically talk about the youth, I think the youth of the country really needs to अपनी education चल रही हो तो उसे बहुत अच्छे से focus करें, because that is what will be the building block for your future career. अपनी बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाई करें कि जो भी वो अपने आगे करियर में करना चाहें उसे अच्छे से कर पाएं, उसे टेकअप कर पाएं। और दूसरी चीज कि टाइम वेस्ट ना करें। देयर इज सो मच अवेलेबल ऑन द नेट, इन द पेपर्स, देयर आर सो मेनी वंडरफुल अपॉर्चुनिटीज दैट दे जस्ट नीड टू कैपिटलाइज ऑन, उस सबका फायदा उठाएं। सो अ यूथ, आई थिंक वो जितना अवेयर और एक्टिव होंगे अबाउट द अपॉर्चुनिटीज देयर अवेलेबल फॉर देम, तो वो उस पर भी एनकैश कर पाएंगे। सो दिस इज व्हाट आई फील कि वो कैसे कनेक्ट कर सकते।
आपने बहुत ही अच्छा सुझाव दिया है इसमें, और मुझे लगता है कि एजुकेशन तो इम्पोर्टेंट है, फिट रहना इम्पोर्टेंट। जैसे ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने कल अपने भाषण में फिट इंडिया का जो एक पर्सपेक्टिव रखा, कल बहुत लॉजिकल बातें हुई, जहाँ पैरा ओलंपियाड्स जिनको कहीं ना कहीं अपनी शारीरिक रूप से कुछ कमियां रहने के बावजूद इंडिया के लिए उन लोगों ने गर्व महसूस किया और इंडिया के लिए गोल्ड लेके आया और इतना दुनिया भर में अपना नाम किया। तो आई थिंक मोटिवेशन, टाइम मैनेजमेंट, staying fit and healthy is very, very important for our youth. And I think we have to be very these days आप हम लोग सब ड्रग्स के बारे में भी पढ़े, तो we have to influence our youth not to get subject to all these drug abuses and not follow such things. So I think if we get a message from you, I think that will be again very important at this moment, that whosoever is listening, ki substantially aapko getting addicted to drugs and all, they are not very good, and I think youth needs to understand that. So what are your views regarding this?
Can I just hear the last part of the question again? The voice broke a little.
So I just want to, if you could give a message to the youth, how using drugs is not good, and how it is important to remain fit and focus on the Fit India mission as well.
How do I, the last part was not clear, I'm sorry.
How to focus on the Fit India mission and not get distracted with the other, sources like drugs, alcohol, how to stay away from all this.
Now, I got your question. So basically, my appeal to all the youth of the country is that we really don't need to get into all these sort of bad things, and especially we need to take care all the more during these times, because it's a very stressful time. We are living in COVID times where there's a limited interaction physically with people, and that creates loneliness, that creates mental depression issues. The mental health gets affected of a person. So we really need to stay strong. And when you talk about the Fit India mission, so said that if you have a fit, if you're fit, you're physically fit, then you'll have a fit mind as well. So a healthy body will lead to a healthy mind. So one should always, of course, focus on remaining fit and working. And that's the time-tested mantra. And also at the same time, it's a very stressful time for everybody. We should not, it's an appeal, we should not fall into the trap of all the bad things. that can be going around, like you just pointed out, alcoholism or taking drugs. Of course, everybody knows it. I don't need to state it again. It's a big no-no. And we've seen what's happening in Bollywood at the moment. So I request all the youth which have joined us today not to get involved in all of this, and always stay very positive, very constructive, and involve themselves only in good things.
Thank you so much. So, as a concluding remark, why do you think an initiative like BRICS CCI Young Leaders is the need of the hour, and how can it help add value to their career?
And how can it? I'm sorry, the voice broke.
How can it add value to their career? Getting associated with the youth associations and international associations, how can it help build them their profile, and how can it help they value their career? Yeah. So what if you could?
I think it's a wonderful opportunity because the organization would be giving them an opportunity to get mentored by people who are good in all of this. So जैसे किसी को अपना इस चीज में कुछ स्टार्ट करना है, इंटरेस्ट रखते हैं वो, तो क्या क्या चीजों की जरूरत पड़ती है उसके बारे में आपको गाइडेंस मिल जाएगी. अगर आपको अपनी सीवी बिल्ड करनी है तो वो सीवी राइटिंग, आंसर राइटिंग, दैट वुड बी टॉट. इंटरव्यू फेस करना पड़ता है इन चीजों के लिए काफी बार, तो इंटरव्यू गाइडेंस भी दी जाएगी. एंड बेसिकली एक नेटवर्क कि आप एक नेटवर्क क्रिएट कर पाओ. यू गेट टू मीट पीपल हु आर from this sector who are doing exceptionally well, उनसे connect करने की opportunity. Then of course those who have done well, तो उनसे inspire होने के लिए, मतलब उनसे हम inspiration ले पाए, उसके लिए talks रखी जाएंगी, sessions रखे जाएंगे. So overall एक अगर किसी भी any young student, I mean any young professional who wants to get into this, उसके लिए बढ़िया opportunity है, क्योंकि general outlook जो actually nobody gets guidance, everybody is confused. So उस confusion का समाधान हो जाएगा.
Thank you so much, Tina ji, for your valuable time. It was an amazing Instagram session, but ये session I think दोबारा करना पड़ेगा एक दो बार और, because इतने सारे सवाल है बच्चों के, I can still see. और what we can do is हम लोग सबसे सवाल ले लेते हैं और आपको एक consolidated email भेजेंगे जो हम लोग social media पे डाल देंगे. But it was a beautiful session. Thank you so much for your lovely time, and hope to connect with you again and help in the betterment of the youth and connecting the youth globally. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Bye-bye.